Hey guys, Kaido here with another video. Today I got you the updated Kindred build guide for Split 2 patch 14.10. I think she's in a very strong spot right now, considering that both crit and shred builds have all gotten buffed, so let's get right into it. Now first, let's look at runes. You can take two setups, which are PTA or Conk. PTA is now pretty strong in my opinion, with the new 8% extra damage when you proc it while you stay in combat, which is so good, and the rest of it is just the usual. You take Triumph with Alacrity, and you can possibly take Bloodline if you're cocky, because there is so much attack speed now in the game, but I wouldn't recommend it. As for the bottom part of the tree, I tried Cut Down, and it just doesn't feel good to take. Ku will always be one of the best runes for carry junglers, as it helps you secure those skills and has great synergy with items like Collector. Carry junglers are all about getting gold, and you need those tools to help you get it, otherwise you will just be useless. As for Last Stand, it is a good rune when you play builds like Triforce Cleaver. Basically, you have items that are just giving you a lot of HP and you just are frontline for your team, where Last Stand will just help you out a lot. As for your secondary setup, you will be good with the classic inspiration page, which is just very good for stable games, and Cosmic, which helps you a lot with invading because your smite CD is lower. Or you can go eyeball collection with treasure hunter. You go eyeball because you just need more ED because of a certain build pass you will just, which you will see later on in this video. You just lack a lot of ED with certain builds, so there's that. And treasure hunter for more money, of course. I don't really like Relentless Hunter, as Kraken gives MS plus zeal items if you do end up going them, and you can sit on tier 1 boots in the early game. Now, let's hop into builds. First, let's look at what I believe are insane auto buffs for Kindred specifically. Cleaver, IE, and Kraken. Kraken is just OP to me, even though it doesn't give crit anymore. It has move speed, which is what Kindred needs, and the original passive, which made Kraken so strong before. Infinity Edge is just a good item on her, and this item just has too much damage now. When you pair it with items like Collector Kraken, you are one-shotting people. And lastly, Cleaver, which has always been one of her favorite items in my opinion. And they just straight up buff the item, and the item is just very strong, especially because of LDR nerfs. So when we look at LDR, it does not give the 10 killing passive anymore. So to me, if healing might be an issue, even if it's a little, like when you're dueling people and it's like that little, like those like bloodline healing or like Brandon BT later on, etc. Like just go Mortal Reminder, as it gives healing reduction passive, but has 5 less AD and armor pen. Meanwhile, LDR just doesn't give a passive. It's just 5 extra AD and armor pen, right? So you see like my point where Mortal Reminder would just be better to build. I think just because it gives more value as an item, even though it costs the same. Okay, I'm going to explain certain items before I show you builds, just because you will decide the items based off comp. So for zeal items, pretty simple. Go Runes when you are hitting a lot of frontline. PD for a lot of movement speed, as both Kraken and PD gives you 19% total MS, not including boots, which is insane for Kindred. Rapid Fire when you need range, and the Warrior Flicker Blade, which I don't think is that great of an item on her, but you can pair it with items like Kraken Cleaver Borg, probably, like very on-hit style. It can probably work, just because I believe Kraken Cleaver Borg is a very strong 3 combo pairing. And okay, for the last item I want to talk about is BT. And it got some buffs, lots of AD and a big shield. It's probably going to be one of your late game items, as you just have a lot of effective HP and lifesteal to help you sustain in fights. And for boots, pretty simple. You got 3 choices. Zerkers for very snowball games, Tabas for heavy AD, and for rough jungle matchups like Kha'zix and Rengar, where Tabbies just counter these champions, you know? Like, I would know. So I play these champs and I always complain, oh damn, he has towers, now I need a Last Whisper to do damage, you know? Any Kha'zix or Rengar player, just general AD assassin would understand the struggle just like I do. And for Mercs versus heavy CC, pretty simple. Now let's get into builds. The first build, which is just the standard glass cannon build. Kraken Collector IE, and you build what's best for the game. So items like Zeal into most likely Rapid Fire with this kind of setup. You can buy BT, Last Whisper item. If they have a lot of AP, you can go Ma, or they have a lot of AD crit champions, you can go 6 item Randuins. But I would suggest just to play full damage anyways, which will, it just helps you like test your limits and just get better at the champion mechanically. If you play Triforce Cleaver on default every game, no matter what, even though you can go crit, like you won't push your limits, which is just like hindering your own improvements. So try out the crit build. It's very fun. I know Triforce was meta for a while last year, but ever since the removal of mythic items, there are so many builds in the game now. You just have to like think about them. Just look at the enemy comp, digest it, see like what items can be good versus them, and the better you are at building, the more like success you will just naturally have if you have good gameplay paired with the builds. And for that setup or that build, the glass cannon build, you can go either Conquer PTA, just preference, you can take either. Here's second build, which is a build from a long time ago for the noob Triforce era. Kraken Cleaver, literally the best items you can build during the game because they will never let you down in terms of stats and what they can do for you in the game. You can go wrong, you cannot go wrong with these items, and you can branch out to many different builds like crit with Zeal items into IE and top off with BT. You can go complete on hit with Bork, which is the best tank shredding build. Like Kraken Bork Cleaver is legit giga back, like you just shred tanks and you can build wherever the fuck you want after that. You should probably go Conk with this build, so yeah, I wouldn't go PTA. Conk just has very good synergy with all the items that you want to buy. The third build, which is Kraken Triforce. I always like Triforce in games where you need to frontline and make space for your team, because this item gives you HP and movement speed, which are needed to do that. You can go crit or on hit afterwards, depending on what's good for the game. With this, you can go either PT or Conk, depending on the game, because you can adapt your items to the rune. I do think PTA now is a pretty viable rune with Kraken Triforce. I really disliked when people did it before, because like PTA is like it's like a one-shot rune, so you want to go Kraken Collector. But now with the new PTA, considering that you get 8% extra damage while in combat, I can see Kraken Triforce being a very good build. So try it out and see what you guys just let me know what you guys think about them. Defensive items, you can build like Ma, Randuin's GA. Just try to like critically think about like the items you want to build in each game when you get to like the later stages in the game. So like in time you'll just get better at building, just like trying to understand comps and what items can be good. Like obviously like when you're versus like very heavy crit champs, like you want to buy Randuins, right? Like if they have double AP, like Ma is very good, Witsend is very good, you know? Like just it's pretty simple at the end of the day. You can probably find more builds and experiment, for example like Kraken IE, Kraken Gauntlet, or even Collector into IE, but to me those are just not good build paths for Kindred in my opinion. And Kraken Slayer is just her absolute best install item first. So yeah, that's all I have for today's video, but I hope you learn a couple thing or two on builds and stuff. So if you have any questions or comments on today's content, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll try to respond to every comment. Make sure to check out the Discord down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be posting more Kindred gameplay with the builds I showcased in the guide, so make sure you got your notifications on. See you guys next time.